Welcome back to UNX Fast Forward, your daily dose of everything ninja. I'm Chris DeGangi.
And I'm Ethan Swanson. And we just had our first ever UNX major event this past weekend, and what an amazing competition.
Yeah, I mean, we had some big moments, huge falls, huge successes,
yes.
And we're going to be going over the women's side of things today.
Right, and just a reminder, for our season, this was the first major of 3 major events, where after the third major, we're going to find the top 8 men, top 8 women that go to the championship event on February 15th.
Yeah, and so now, since that first major is over, the open qualifiers, they reset. So now if you want to get into our second major, we're going to be going back to those open qualifiers.
That's right, and so with the first major, athletes have now actually earned their first points in the season. So we're going to see that right now, and you'll see, obviously, based on performance in this major event, now they have points from the first major. They're going to be able to get points again in the second and the third major, where after all the points are done in those 3 majors, that's when we find our top 8 men and top 8 women for the championship event.
Yeah, and so remember, looking at those season standings, if you took top 3 in this first major, you're guaranteed into that second major.
Right.
So let's go over number 1.
Number 1, Kylee Hughes, our youngest athlete competing in the major event at 13 years old, barely a teenager, and takes first place over some of the most powerful women's athletes in the sport.
Yes, such a strong performance from Kylee. You know, she was the first finisher on the course. Coming out of the semifinal, she was in 5th place, did not make it through the loaded ropes, and then to come back, you know, that's you know, it's got to be crushing mentally to know that, you know, you didn't get through half the course, to come back and be the first finisher on the women's course.
And doing it in such a time, I mean, 3 minutes and 17 seconds, so she had 43 seconds left. That's a lot of time that she had left. She was flying.
Yeah, she was moving quick. You know, and the last obstacle, to put a ring on it, such a tricky obstacle, and I love the way that she attacked it.
And you can see it on her face. Like, she's just the type of athlete, when she caught the trapeze and she failed in the semis, you see the smile on her face. When she put a ring on it, she smiled on her face, and she was crying. She was so happy after she hit the buzzer. You know, and this happened, we talked about it in the qualifier. She was the first women's athlete to break through the UFO, and now she's the first women's athlete to finish the course. What is it about Kylee?
Yeah, Kylee, definitely no stranger to coming through, being the first person to do something. And I think it's just, she's so young. She doesn't have a ton of experience, so maybe she just hasn't failed enough, because she's so successful, and I love the way that she attacks the course, and there's just a lot of confidence there.
Yep, and you know, she trains, her family trains. She's part of the Sisters, her and her sister,
yep.
Kenzie, they train together ninja.
Her mom
competes in ninja, and their whole family is all in ninja, and she's trained by Mike Salenzi, so she's got a really good group of people pushing her, and it's clear, I mean, she's got what it takes, and she's so young. I can't wait to see what else she does this season.
Yeah, and she had Michael Torres build out a ninja section to her basement. So,
yeah, right.
I mean, this girl lives ninja.
Ninja every day.
Every day. But
yeah.
On the other side of things, we got to talk about our second place finisher, Elena Bohr.
Yeah.
And Elena was actually my pick as an up-and-coming athlete.
Oh.
You know, a little self-plug. But, you know, I looked at Elena, and the way that she attacked the course down in Ninja Quest, I thought she had such confidence. She attacked it without hesitation that I knew she would come to this major and perform very well, and ended up being our second finisher.
Second, and the only 2 finishers, Kylee and Elena. And, you know, I think Elena, it's so funny, you watch them compete, they're so different. You know, Kylee is just like all smiles on the course and emotions on her sleeve everywhere. And Elena is just straight-faced. It's all business, and man, does she perform when it comes down to business.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at her semifinals run. It put her in 4th place.
Right.
Coming out of the semi. She had a good time, and then to come in finals, and right after Kylee finished the course, and then even in her second finals run, she made it all the way back to put a ring on it. So it's consistent.
Right. All of her 3 runs, she always got to put a ring on it. I mean, talk about consistency there. As a 15-year-old athlete, 4th place, 2nd place, 2nd place. Wow. I mean, that's pretty amazing for any athlete, let alone a 15-year-old girl competing.
Yeah, unbelievable effort there. And then in 3rd place, Barclay Stockett, veteran ninja, coming out here telling these kids, all right, you had a little bit of a moment, but I'm getting on this podium.
Right, exactly. She told all of them but 2. But no, I mean, I think it's no surprise there. Barclay, I think we both expected to podium and take a top 3 spot. And, you know, she was blazing fast. She was faster than anybody else to put a ring on. And I think that was actually her downfall in her second finals run. She was thinking, I'm going to crush this course faster than everybody. and show these kids what's up. But unfortunately, just missed a ring on that second run. But still, her first finals run was good enough to keep her in third place.
Yeah, I mean, the put a ring on it, it's such a finicky obstacle. It's so tricky. You have to be so precise. And like you said, Barclay had such a good time. Couldn't quite make that transfer.
Yeah, but like we said already, Kylee, Elena, and Barclay, because they took top 3, they're already guaranteed into the second major. So they don't have to go to the qualifiers. They can if they like. It's not going to hurt them, but they are already into our second major event.
And that's a huge advantage when you talk about the season. You know, they're going to be in that second major. They're going to be competing. And so now looking at the points that they have, they've set themselves up very well.
Yeah.
For the championship.
Right. Not only getting a ton of points, but also just getting into that second major. We saw how hard it was, how difficult just to get to the major. I mean, talk about, you know, Tiana Weberly didn't qualify, and even Jessie Graf took 6th place in her first, you know, qualifier. If she wasn't a season guaranteed athlete, she might have had a hard time just getting there.
Yeah, I mean, these open qualifiers, the competition, I mean, it's just going to get better and better. It's going to be really hard to take those 3 spots, and so just a huge advantage that they've earned here.
Yep. But, you know, along with our huge successes, we did have some very shocking falls. Unfortunately, the most shocking of all of them, you know, I think somebody that both of us predicted to take first place, Jessie Labrecque, falling very early on the course in the semis and didn't even make it to the finals of the major.
Yeah, Jessie, you know, obviously we got a chance to talk, and, you know, she was...
Oh, yeah, you guys talked afterwards?
We talked a little bit, but she was extremely, you know, disappointed, but at the same time, the way that she handled herself, and actually our photographer, Katie, picked up on this, you know, she handled herself so well, and it's so inspiring, and it's good for everyone to see that, you know, even if you're at the top of the sport, even if you consistently perform well, you're going to have those moments, you're going to have those times where you don't perform well, and, you know, you get up, you dust yourself off, and, you know, you kind of just laugh it off and move on to the next one.
Right, and we saw her in the crowd for every other women's run and men's run and cheering everybody on, yelling the loudest. It's great to see, especially just the support of Jessie Labrecque and the Ninja community, the positivity of, yeah, I didn't do my best, but I want everyone else to.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing with Ninja. It's just you're against the course, and, you know, you want to see people be successful. Whether or not it's you, you'd like it to be you, but, you know, you just want everyone to succeed and clear these courses because they're extremely challenging. But the other thing I got to bring up is, you know, Jessie with a big fail in her home gym. And so Ethan actually put this course together, and, you know, we, as course designers, whether it's Ethan or Tony Torres or Brian Kretsch, anybody who puts together a course, I think you really pride yourself on putting things into the course where the home gym people don't have that advantage.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to do away with home gym advantage, and even some of the more standard things like the floating cliffhangers on the edge and some of the ropes, we put those in the warm-up area because, you know, athletes like Jessie Labrecque and Michael Torres know what they feel like, and so we want other athletes who don't train at Ultimate Ninjas to know what certain things feel like, so they don't, you know, they're not at such a disadvantage already having to compete against these powerful athletes. But back to some more shocking falls, and another one is as big as it gets. Jessie Graf, unfortunately, both in the semis and her first, like the round 1 finals run, couldn't figure out that loaded rope to the trapeze.
Yeah, and I think it was just a strategy thing. I think she just didn't know which way to commit to. She tried to get her feet on, which I think just made her too high on the rope. It didn't get her enough to the trapeze, and then it was too late to save it after she tried to get her feet on, and so I think it just came down to strategy, which is a little surprising because Jessie usually one of the better athletes at strategizing.
And she's actually, and another thing too, she's been dealing with some injuries and some nagging things that, you know, she's still able to compete, but it makes it so much tougher. And so one of the things I was thinking is, you know, maybe she's trying to use her feet to take some weight off of her shoulders and off of those injuries that she wouldn't have done otherwise. And so that's really good to remember because she's so good, she's so strong, and usually her strategy is better than almost anybody else's.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you're right. I mean, it could come down to the injury there.
Yep. But another one of the top women's athletes, somebody I had predicted to be in the top 3, Casey Rothschild. You know, I was so surprised she fell on the loaded rope to trapeze in her semifinals run, good enough to make it to the finals. But then in the finals, she made it past it, and then completely just misjudged, misgrabbed on the edge, and only got her index fingers on the cliffhangers.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really precise move to launch yourself up to that cliffhanger. It's a big move up, and you could see she had one hand on and the other hand just didn't get in the right spot. And I think only she had her pointer finger on it, and you could see it just peeled off, and there's really no saving that.
No, you can't. You catch it like that, there's no way to save. You have to have both hands on that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But I agree. I think Casey was such a favorite athlete in this competition, and especially when she got through the loaded ropes, I thought she was going to blaze through the rest of it. And then it's what it is. It's ninja.
Yep.
You know, there's so many moments where it's just and you're off.
And that obstacle is not easy. Even if you do catch it right, it's a lot of weight on your fingertips, and you got to keep moving through things and connect right into the rope monkey. It's a hard connection to obstacles.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, overall, I think just the results of this competition, you know, we saw the young kids come out. And so do you think we'll see that moving forward?
The young kids?
The young guns, you know?
Yes, I think we're going to see the youngest. I mean, they've shown, like, we had 4 out of our top 5 women's athletes were young guns. And one of the young guns that honestly was, to me, a big shocker of a fall was Rachel Brown, also going out in the first round of the finals on the edge, just kind of similar to Casey, and just, you know, missed a hand, couldn't pull it in, and was out. And I know Rachel. I've competed against her. She is freakishly strong. That was such a shock to me, how good she is, and just a little mistake like that, and it was over.
Yeah, I mean, it was such an impressive showing from all the young competitors. Olivia Colsano
made it to put a ring on it every single run of hers.
Every single run she made it, and that's consistency.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm hoping she goes to another open qualifier and makes it back out to Major 2, because I think we have a lot more to see from Olivia.
I think so too. And, you know, she's already signed up actually for one of our qualifiers.
Yes.
Right, so we're going to see her again competing, hopefully back in the major. But yeah, the women's competition was so intense and so unreal, getting no finishers in the semifinals to then getting 2 in the finals, and then, you know, Kylee coming on top.
Yeah, Kylee on top, our youngest competitor, 13 years old. I cannot wait to see what she brings to our next major.
Yeah, and you know, it's so amazing now that athletes have some of their points going into the season, and 2 more opportunities to earn points in the second major, in the third major. We're going to see how the rest of the season plays out, but some people are off to a great start, some people not so much, and we'll see how it plays out the rest of the season.
Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to be looking at the men's side of things. We're going to break down the men's semifinals, look at who our top 3 were, look at some more shocking falls, big moments.
Yep.
So that's going to be on tomorrow's Fast Forward.
Right, and until then, I'm Ethan Swanson.
And I'm Chris Ganji, and we'll see you next time.